what comes next for UW? And they've paid Kalen DeBoer, which I totally understand. And based on what he's done this year, he 100% deserves it. I love it. And great job by Jen Cohen. Everything she's done here has been great following, the disaster of last year. But Penix kind of came with DeBoer, right? There's a previous relationship there. How much of the success is still with DeBoer versus how much of it is Michael Penix specific?
So if there was no Michael Penix, which, by the way, they were pretty close to having no Michael Penix, if you remember.
Right, there would have been Jake Haener probably.
Not probably.
Right.
It was Jake
He
Haener.
was here, and then he decided not to be here.
Well, yeah, it was. It looked like, unfortunately, you're going to miss spring.
Right, but both of those guys are from DeBoer's, past. Basically, what I'm saying is take away his past and people that have already worked with him, and how much of the success is him. I'm glad you bring up Haener because that's a good point. Jake Haener was here, lost the job to a guy that he was probably better than, and ended up going down to Fresno, and in DeBoer's system, turning himself into a significantly better player than anybody thought he could be. Can he do that with everybody? So is this recreatable for next year?
Well, let's see. At Sioux Falls, he was 67-3 as the head coach. That was Kalen DeBoer, different level, NAIA, I get it, but you're 67-3 and you win multiple national titles. And if it weren't for Carroll College out of Montana, you might have won 6 national titles. So I think 2 of his 3 losses were to Carroll College in the title game. So that's what he was there. And then let's see, at Indiana with a young Michael Penix, Michael Penix was X. And then when DeBoer left, Michael Penix at Indiana was Y. Then at Fresno State, Jake Haener loses the job to Jacob Eason. He's X. And then Jake Haener has Kalen DeBoer at Fresno State. He's Y. Michael Penix shut it down at Indiana in 2021. He was X. And then in 2022 with Kalen DeBoer,
so
he's
he sure
Y.
seems to be a quarterback difference maker.
So you tell me. And I think we could go back to Eastern Michigan and Southern Illinois if we want to do all the homework. My guess, and the reason that Jeff Tedford made a call to Kalen DeBoer when Tedford was at Fresno State as head coach, and he's like, who in the world is this guy at Eastern Michigan? Ypsilanti is death to all things college football, and especially offense. You can't at Eastern Michigan be good. And you know what he was at Eastern Michigan as a coordinator? Very good. And his quarterback was off the charts. And you know what Jeff Tedford did? He did what Mike Bellotti did at Oregon. He had no relationship, but he was like, if this guy can do that at Eastern Michigan, like Mike Bellotti looked at Chip Kelly, if that guy can do that at New Hampshire, he can turn my program. And so he hires Kalen DeBoer to Fresno, lights out year. Kalen DeBoer gets hired at Indiana as the OC, lights out year. Kalen DeBoer goes back to Fresno with Jake Haener, lights out. I mean, I don't know how much more evidence you would need to see.
Well, so that changes your original answer, right? In terms of how much of their success is directly tied to Penix. Obviously, quite a bit of it. I don't mean to take anything away from the kid. He's been tremendous, and he's really fun to watch. I really enjoy him.
Yes.
You know me and how much I detest the whole, well, this guy's local, so the Seahawks should draft him. It drives me crazy. And thank God John Schneider didn't listen to all you Jake Locker people, or else the Seahawks would have been perennially screwed. And I say that knowing that Jake's one of the nicest people out there. So
I don't know. Do you listen to Fitzmagic yesterday?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Okay.
So nice. Yes. I wouldn't mind seeing Michael Penix here just because I enjoy watching him. I think he's a fun player.
If you have picked 35.
Yeah.
So
I wouldn't do it with the top 5 pick.
You're not going to do it with your 2 first-rounders, likely?
Probably not.
At 35?
If he was still available in the second round, yeah, I would absolutely consider it. I think he's got that kind of skill, and I really enjoy it. I'd be a little nervous about the injury stuff, but I don't know. I like him. So whatever. Point being, is this sustainable now for UW once Penix inevitably leaves? And, I don't know, there's probably a bigger question about whether anything is sustainable in college football anymore.
Correct.
Based on how hard, recruiting is not what it used to be, and all of that stuff has changed so dramatically. But if DeBoer is a quarterback whisperer, isn't that kind of a game changer?
Well, it is. You used to mock me and laugh at me and point fingers at me, and sometimes appropriately so. because maybe every once in a while I had purple-tinted glasses and bias. Occasionally. That was in my old days. Now that I'm a journalist and a national voice, I don't have that anymore.
Wow. You've really grown.
But I said to you, Salk, winning begets winning in college football, because at Alabama and Ohio State it largely does. You win and you get guys to the league. Guess what? You want to go play there. Nick Saban, we added this up one time, I believe, on a show I was doing. I believe that his players have made over $2 billion in the NFL. Like when he talks about creating value, I know it's well over $1 billion. I think it's close to $2 billion of gross revenue that his players have made at the NFL level. And when players see that, like, I'm going to get to the league, I'm going to win a national title, I'm going to go there. Winning begets winning. And so when Chris Peterson was turning guys into NFL players and winning games, like, I want to go be a part of that. Well, now dump kerosene on the fire, because in a transfer portal world, now you don't even have to sit out a year.
Right.
Now it's like, oh, really? This guy's done that at quarterback. So for Dylan Morris and my nephew, if Michael Penix exits stage right, undoubtedly there's going to be somebody that looks at it and goes,
yeah, I want to go in there.
Yeah, that guy's done and turned just about everything he's touched to gold. And they've got a good system and a good young O-line, and he's going to find receivers, and everywhere he's been, he's had success. So is it sustainable when you've had the track record that I just said Kalen DeBoer has had? You can bet your bottom dollar that Dylan and Sam will fight like and claw and want to be the guy, because everybody that's been the guy for Kalen DeBoer has played the best he's ever played at that position.